Hello, it's a lovely good evening and welcome to Camnet Television News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Top stories in the news tonight. PF re-echoes its position over the 2022 national budget, describing it as a hoax. Government urged to do more in reducing the cost of living. President HOAX thanks the church for its support to the government. In international news, families in the Gambia face spike in cost of living. And in sports news, Riflemen FC becomes second team to gain promotion into the National League.
On Monday, 13th June 2022, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba as he hosts Economic Front President, Mr. Winter Kabimba.
You know, power is only sour when it is in the hands of somebody else. When it is transferred into your hands, it becomes sweet, and all the wrongs that you saw with other people become right because now you're in power. So to attribute the increase, you know, the rapid increase now or the continued increase in commodity prices to the war in Ukraine is really not being truthful. Again, that is one thing that the UPND government has failed to own up.
Topic of discussion: where has Zambia gone wrong?
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages. On TSTV channel 274, GoTV channel 98 and Topstar channel 106. Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Another news in detail. Works to overhaul the water and sewer system in Lusaka's Mutendere and surrounding areas such as Kalikiliki compound commenced, Ward 34 Councillor Boniface Chibeka says. Residents from the said areas have had water blues and sewer spillages for many years now, to which complaints have fallen on deaf ears until now. Mr. Chibeka has in this regard reminded the residents in areas under the plan to ensure the project bears fruits by protecting it at all costs once completed. More in this report.
Most townships in Lusaka are known for erratic water supply and sewer spillages. These problems have often been attributed to a rise in population, which is currently estimated at over 3 million, as the infrastructure, which was not designed for such a huge population, has been overwhelmed. Among them is Mutendere, Kalikiliki, and Helen Kaunda compounds in Munali constituency, with Mutendere having recorded the first case of cholera in 2022, after the last case countrywide was last reported in 2018.
Mutendere kuri problem ya manzi timachitota papa boho yolipira timalipira 1 quart ka container ka 20 liters 1 quart ka 20 liters tilipira 550 ngwe. So problem ya kula ya manzi mwamene yanaendera ka ni last week na manje kulibe manzi
sini yangana apa nikaenda kukwa niponda vimazi vama tu videile manja nikaenda kudwala akuti ni COVID-19 batai wala kuti nikusasa mara vimazi vama tu vimazi vingo choka chaka cha sina vimazi vichoka sina vivala lakamba vintu vina nguva vilida na chito aleko samara hii manja ese amena siti yangana diponda hapo hapa.
Mtendere wa 34 Councillor Mr. Boniface Chibeka says an overhaul of the sewer and water system has now begun under the Millennium Challenge account.
Then the other thing is that why it has taken long is because of when the former contractor, the left the site, after they stopped the resident, some of what residents were actually dumping garbage in the sewer system, and the other, apart from that, and some thieves have stolen some of the leads on top of that sewer network. So the unique guy is, apart from connecting, they first have to clean and jam the sewer network.
He has appealed to residents to safeguard against vandalism. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Resident Doctors Association of Zambia President Dr. Brian Sampa has condemned the decision taken by the University Teaching Hospital Management to discipline officials involved in the issuing of a memorandum of understanding indicating that full blood count testing has been suspended at the hospital. In an exclusive interview with Camnet News, Dr. Sampa says the scientists acted accordingly when they wrote the memo to the head clinical care, informing them that there were no reagents at the laboratory and that there was no way the hospital was going to continue sending people to the lab. He says government should protect the well-being of the officials and not punish them for doing the right things. Meanwhile, Ministry of Health Permanent Secretary for Technical Services, Professor Lacson Kasonka, says the officials involved in the issuing of the memo did not follow the right procedure, hence the need to discipline them. More in this report.
Wednesday, 19th June 2022, an internal memorandum written to the head of clinical care at Zambia's biggest hospital, the University Teaching Hospital, indicating that the hematology department was suspending the full blood counts and cell differential for all routine samples due to lack of reagents for the instrument used, landed in the hands of external members who circulated it on social media. The memo brought about a lot of outcry from members of the general public who wondered how the biggest hospital in the country can run out of reagents. But Ministry of Health says the memo was misunderstood by the public as the writer was trying to persuade the relevant authorities to quickly act by buying more reagents, considering that the ones in stores were running out. Ministry Permanent Secretary for Technical Services, Professor Lacson Kasonka, says the acting scientist who issued the memo did not follow the right procedure and that it will be disciplined accordingly.
It's a failure to observe communication channels and also use the right language, because no one has the right to suspend hospital procedures, probably not even the senior medical superintendent, except the permanent secretary in the house. To kind of create agency in the office of the head of clinical care, he had to make it sound like we have stopped actually doing this because the reagents have run out. Please do something about it, and do something about it now. So that was the statement in there. That was for internal communication. That was not meant for you, the members of press.
But the Resident Doctors Association of Zambia President Dr. Brian Sampa has condemned the decision taken by the ministry to discipline the scientists involved, saying they acted in accordance with the law.
The public. When people go to the hospital and then you draw blood from them, you want to do some tests, and yet you don't have reagents. You will be drawing blood from people, just spoiling that blood. And some people who may need blood, sometimes some people we draw blood from are already anemic, and then you have to draw blood when you even know that there are no reagents. So those people actually acted very well by informing the people that no, they shouldn't draw blood for such purposes, because if they do so, there are no reagents to do that. And it's not the first memo. Go to different hospitals and other facilities. You find a lot of memos of such kind.
And Dr. Sampa adds that the country needs to differentiate between politics and real-life issues such as human lives.
There's nothing like breaking the oath of secrecy. No, those are not secrets, and these memos are a norm. You know, we should move past this thing of politicking everything. There's nothing wrong that person did, and that could not have been the first memo they have written. So why now? It's not about looking like they are trying to embarrass the government. They are looking at it from the point of helping the patients and the public, so that if somebody comes and they know that they are not doing that test, they may not need to waste time waiting in the queue. They may just go maybe and do it at a private lab.
Shortages of some drugs in health facilities has persisted despite the Ministry of Finance releasing more than half of the 3 billion kwacha budgeted for the procurements of drugs in 2022. The government, however, says the procurement process has been slow, but that it is working at ensuring that the right drugs reach the country and that the problem will be rectified. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
A named teacher in Lusaka has appealed to the government to implement the erroneously paid allowances to them in a systematic manner that will allow them have some resources after the deduction. Speaking in an interview with Camnet News, the affected teacher says he has a loan with a named bank and that he was not aware that the resources that were coming through were erroneously paid. Meanwhile, the National Union of Public and Private Educators of Zambia, NUPEZ, says it is public theft for teachers who erroneously received overpayments from the government not to have rectified the mistake. More in this report.
Ministry of Finance Thursday reported that the Office of the Auditor General recently conducted an audit of the payroll in the Ministry of Education for the financial year 2017 to 2021, targeted at ascertaining the correctness of remunerations paid to 7 public officials under the Ministry of Education. During the audit, it was discovered that over 9,000 teachers have been erroneously getting paid housing, rural hardship, remote hardship, double class and responsibility allowances without reporting the matter to the government. Ministry of Finance, however, says it has put up measures to recover above 209 million kwacha paid allowances from the beneficiaries. However, the decision does not seem to go well with the named teacher who will be affected in the exercise.
Or it was more like maybe in the appreciation way. We didn't even know that that money is going to come to us. So we are appealing if they can at least use a systematic way in terms of deducting the money, and like deducting a lot of money whereby we didn't even plan for it, because our plans were if we get a certain amount of money, we planned that we'll be paying at the end of the month a certain amount of money. So if they add or they add up to the amount that we did not plan.
And the National Union for Public and Private Educators of Zambia, NUPEZ, says it is public theft for a government official to get an allowances they are not titled to without informing the relevant authorities on the matter.
Whatever underpayments you see as a worker must be reported to the relevant officers. But we have a number of our officers that went quiet, despite having seen those irregularities on the payslips, and so they kept drawing rural hardship allowances that they did not deserve. Others kept drawing double class allowances that they did not deserve, and so the Ministry of Finance is simply saying these are fraudulent irregularities, and these monies must be recovered, and they've continued the recovery.
Mr. Mwale adds that the decision taken by the government should be a warning to all future offenders who may find themselves in such a case, and has urged the government to see how best the resources can be recovered while giving some breathing space to the affected teachers.
Ourselves as a union, our hands may be tied in protecting such issues, because the instructions are very, very clear that people must report any erroneous payment, and so the new government has been very, very clear on abuse of resources, and so we are again once more appealing to our workers that should they see such, please can they report to avoid the recoveries that may be instituted, and as a union our hands may be tied. It may be difficult for us to protect them when such things happen.
Prudence Chota reporting for Camnet TV News.
Fight Inequality Alliance Zambia National Coordinator Daisy Mwilima has urged government to step up efforts in reducing the cost of living to bridge the inequality gap. Ms. Mwilima has implored government to put in place measures to cushion the majority Zambians, especially regarding the cost of mealie meal. She notes that Zambia's currency has appreciated in the past 9 months, but has not translated into uplifting the living standards of the people. Ms. Mwilima says the fluctuating fuel prices have further pushed the cost of production of both food and non-food items.
As the Fight Inequality Alliance in Zambia, we do want to commend the government for the strides that they are making in order to reduce the cost of living. I think as a country we can see inflation going down, but what we're concerned about is while all these strides are being made in terms of inflation going down, the kwacha gaining, we cannot see this translating into the reduced cost of living. Food prices are still going up, the fuel is fluctuating back and forth to being expensive, to being cheaper, which is literally translating into unstable prices of transport, for example, and that means a lot in terms of increased cost of every other commodities that you purchase as a Zambian, and we want to implore the government to put in place measures to cushion the majority poor Zambians that voted for them as this is going on. Because while a lot of people who are elite may be comfortable with the high cost of living, the majority poor Zambians are not.
Patriotic Front PF Media Director Antonio Mwanza has charged that the lengthy process in accessing the constituency development funds and the delayed teacher recruitment process is proof that the 2022 national budget is a hoax. The PF is on record casting doubts on the 2022 national budget, stating that it was too exorbitant, adding that the current administration will have challenges in actualizing plans in the budget. However, Minister of Education Douglas Yakalima recently stated that the current administration is up to the task of recruiting the teachers, adding that names will be published soon after validation is complete. More in this report.
The former ruling Patriotic Front, which is now the largest opposition party following its election loss on 12th August 2021, has now embarked on a journey of offering checks and balances to the current administration. The current administration presented a total budget of 173 billion kwacha for 2022, which also included the recruitment of 30,000 teachers, over 11,000 health workers, and an increase in Constituency Development Fund CDF from 1.6 million to 25.7 million kwacha. The PF from the onset has been skeptical about the attainability of the budget, questioning whether plans will be actualized. The delayment in the teacher recruitment exercise has got the PF talking. PF Media Director Antonio Mwanza was speaking to Camnet News.
So Mr. Mwetwa must be ignored by the Teaching Service Commission. He has no authority to have any say on the recruitment of teachers. It is not his job. And if Zambians want to be sincere, they should ask Mr. Mwetwa, where was he when this whole process began? And why is it that out of 10 provinces, we only have a problem in Southern Province? How special is Southern Province? What is wrong with Southern Province? Why don't we have problems in the other 9 provinces? And where was Mr. Mwetwa all along? Again, this is a trick. All they want to do is to delay the recruitment process because they don't have the money to recruit those teachers and to pay them. They don't have the money.
He has also commented on the lengthy processes involved in accessing CDF.
The reason is simple, they don't have the money. The reason they've come up with all these draconian, archaic guidelines is because they want to use these guidelines to stop people from accessing CDF so that they can use it as a reason for not releasing the remaining 20.7 million kwacha. So this is a gimmick that UPND has put in place. Make sure that it becomes practically impossible to access CDF so that when we come to December and the CDF is not released, they would say it is not our fault. It is the fault of the local authorities who failed to access the CDF. People have to know that CDF was supposed to first be released in January, the first quarter. We are now in the second quarter and we are coming to the end of the second quarter on the 30th of June. Still, this government has not released the CDF. The 5 million that they told us they have released, it has not yet been accessed by anyone. So what is the basis of putting up a CDF at 27.5 million when people, first of all, cannot access it, and secondly, the government cannot release it?
The United Party for National Development UPND administration, however, is on record indicating that the tight measures around CDF is aimed at preventing corruption, while names for the teachers will be published soon once validation is done. The former ruling party is, however, still skeptical, stating that it is only when they see these things actualizing that they will believe in the budget, which they term to be unreal from inception. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Republican President Hakainde Hichilema says division will not heal the country, but that working together is what will take Zambia to where it belongs. Speaking when he attended church service at the Kalewa Central Seventh-day Adventist Church in Ndola on the Copper Belt province, President Hichilema says that we are all children of God and need to work together to attain the goal. The president thanked the leaders from all churches in the country for their continued support to the government. President Hichilema is on the Copper Belt for a 3-day work visit and is this evening expected to grace the UPND fundraising dinner at Protea Hotel in Ndola.
Sometimes we think it's easy, it's not easy. Many times we want to thank our leaders of the church, leaders of other churches across the country, that we know the past one. And I do love gospel music, so I listen to some of the songs that division will never have a country. Working together, together is what will take this country where it belongs. We are all children of God, and we need to love one another as we struggle to better the lives of our people.
The Zambian Department of Immigration says it is currently identifying all illegal routes into the country in order to have these sealed off as one way of dealing with the ongoing problem of illegal immigrants into the country. In an interview, Department Public Relations Officer Mr. Namati Nshinka says the department has noted an increase in illegal entry routes which illegal immigrants use as one way of avoiding identification at border points. Stakeholders have been calling for tightening of security measures as one way of dealing with the perennial problem of illegal immigrants.
We need to carry out these operations so that we can capture whoever does not have a validity or valid immigration status to remain in Zambia. And not only that, what members of the public need to understand is that immigration status is not static, it's dynamic. What do I mean? I mean, today you can be legal because you entered legally, okay, and you've got permission to stay in the country for a certain period. But you can join the illegal population if you don't extend, the validity of your stay. Okay, so right now as we're speaking, somebody has become illegal because maybe they have not renewed their stay in the country. So that's the importance of us carrying out these operations. And we also need the participation and the full collaboration and the cooperation of the members of the public to report cases of suspected illegal immigrants within their communities, because we cannot be in each and every part of the country. So we need them to be very vigilant and report suspected cases of illegal immigration to the Department of Immigration.
This is Camnet Television News. We'll take our first commercial break. We'll be back with more news after this break.
We are the future, and that future starts here and now. You see, we've never been afraid to dream big, so every day we turn those dreams into choices. Choices that create moments to forge a path to make our dream a reality. For us, there's no such thing as failure, only a choice to keep moving forward. To take every step with unrelenting focus. Because we know that what starts here changes the world. Every challenge accepted, every goal met, every choice defines us. You see, we take education a step further. Through partnerships with the corporate world, providing internships and job opportunities for graduates, we are the perfect partner to carry you forward. The University of Lusaka, passion for quality education, our driving force.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum Products for that perfect skin.
On Monday, 13th June 2022, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba as he hosts Economic Front President, Mr. Winter Kabimba.
Power is only sour when it is in the hands of somebody else. When it is transferred into your hands, it becomes sweet, and all the wrongs that you saw with other people become right because now you're in power. So to attribute the increase, the rapid increase now, or the continued increase in commodity prices to the war in Ukraine is really not being truthful. Again, that is one thing that the UPND government has failed to own up.
Topic of discussion: where has Zambia gone wrong?
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages.
On DSTV channel 274, GoTV channel 98 and Topstar channel 106.
Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the news. Government has, in the 2022 total expenditure, set aside 7.3 billion kwacha for the Ministry of Agriculture. Kalumbila District Commissioner Brenda Sankisa says this is so because government views the agriculture sector as an economic transformer and job creator for many citizens. Speaking when she officiated at this year's District Agriculture Show in Kalumbila, held under the theme Innovation Through Technology, Ms. Sankisa said government wants to maximize Zambia's economic value from the agriculture sector. She has since urged farmers to explore and adopt innovations and technologies practices she says will improve production. Earlier, Kalumbila District Show Society Chairperson David Mwita appealed to government through the Constituency Development Fund projects to consider working on the deplorable feeder roads that lead to the farmers and also help farmers with mechanized farming as they embrace technology in transforming farming as a business. More in this report.
They are here again after some good years of not participating in the agriculture show event due to COVID-19. These are farmers of Kalumbila District in Northwestern Province who have successfully held their district agriculture show. They are here to learn and exchange new farming technologies to improve their agriculture and livestock production. The District Commissioner Brenda Sankisa officiated at the event.
The government, in the 2022 total estimates of expenditure for the agriculture, Ministry has set aside an amount of 7.3 billion. All this amount is for you hardworking farmers around here. Our farmers in the Kalumbila District must take advantage of this provision to improve their various production and agribusiness.
And farmers here have made appeals to government through the District Commissioner.
The District Commissioner, Kalumbila District, however, faces some challenges which I would like to highlight on behalf of the farming community. Market uncertainty. This poses a critical challenge since every farmer wishes to sell their produce at the right time and the right price.
We are fully aware of the procured earth-moving equipments meant to construct and maintain our feeder roads in the district. Our appeal and hope is that through CDF and World Development projects, the feeder roads that lead to our farms or farmers' proximity will too be considered, as it has been a challenge for our farmers to transport produce and inputs to and from farms to the markets.
As TFL Trading Foundation, we are here to contribute to this year's Kalumbila District's Agriculture Show, in the sense that we are trying to promote sustainability among our farmers.
The Anti-Corruption Commission, working with the Ministry of Agriculture, took advantage of the event and sensitized the farmers on the dangers of corruption in the Farmer Input Support Program FISIP implementation.
Insangu inatuleti chukwenda tulibondi na nawa anakutara hansamu ya undimu kulonda kupata mkukumisha majika kanwa anakumweka na muundimu we are going to embark on a program to sensitize all the farmers, stakeholders, and all government officials about the distribution program of fertilizers this year.
This year's agriculture show was held under the theme Innovation Through Technology with the sub-theme Technology Transforms Business. Alice Nyirenda reporting in Kalumbila District, Northwestern Province.
Media Network on Child Rights and Development Executive Director Henry Kabwe has expressed sadness that the Child Code Bill has not been enacted into law and hopes government will consider it during its sittings. Mr. Kabwe says the Child Code Bill is important in harmonizing, protecting, promoting children's rights and participation in issues that affect them. He says the Child Code Bill has been hanging on the shelves without any form of progress for a long time now, a situation he says hinges on the effectiveness of pieces of legislation for children. Mr. Kabwe has since appealed to citizens to ensure they utilize the cyberspace without infringing the rights of children. Northwestern Province Permanent Secretary Grandson Katambi has reaffirmed government's commitment to the fight against corruption in the implementation of Farmer Input Support Program FISP in the province. Colonel Katambi further assured Ministry of Agriculture and Anti-Corruption Commission of his full support in the joint FISP sensitization program currently being undertaken in all the provinces. NAIS reports that the Permanent Secretary was speaking when a joint team from the Ministry of Agriculture and the Anti-Corruption Commission paid a courtesy call on him at his office in Solwezi today. More in this report.
Talk about anti-corruption in FISP. That in itself is a virus. It has been a virus. It has been a virus in the sense that only those that are advantaged in life were able to just from nowhere compromise their system at the benefit of some of us who are poor. That has been the outcry of everybody. Even this government, it may also be the same if we don't change the way we play this game. You see, life has changed over years. So we need now to use other instruments in order to reinforce what we want to do. And those instruments are those that are trained to detect and report, as it were, which was lacking. So people had a field day. It's a good program, but we shall support it. Yeah, for me, I stand ready. And together, I think we can succeed. It's a bad habit. Let this program develop and let it progress to the benefit of a Zambian.
We are so thankful for that. If all our leaders were like you, were coming out like you, were coming out to join in the fight against corruption, Zambia would have been a different place to be. So as ACC, we are promising you that we are going to work hard. We'll work extra hard to send information to people in the communities.
Doing a joint program on the physical sensitization in terms of preventing corruption in the Farmer Input Support Program. So it's a program that has been confined from Lusaka. It has even come up to the grassroots here so that we can disseminate the same information up to the grassroots.
This is Camnet Television News. We'll take a break. We'll be back with international and sports news.
Team, the trajectory of the business looks very positive, and it looks like we'll be able to launch the ministry. There's so much data.
Mom.
Yes, baby.
It says here, global warming and climate change is caused by the pollution from careless activities of human beings.
Wow!
Son, do you know I can turn my phone into a TV remote?
How's that possible?
It's so easy. Check this out.
Be smart, be fast with mega data from Zamtel. Get your 15 GB mobile data for only 100 kwacha, 30 GB mobile data for only 200 kwacha, and your 70 GB LTE data bundle with free Netflix, YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Visit our Facebook page, website, or service centers countrywide for more information. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
On Monday, 13th June 2022, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba as he hosts Economic Front President, Mr. Winter Kavimba.
Power is only sour when it is in the hands of somebody else. When it is transferred into your hands, it becomes sweet, and all the wrongs that you saw with other people become right because now you're in power. So to attribute the increase, the rapid increase now, or the continued increase in commodity prices to the war in Ukraine is really not being truthful. Again, that is one thing that the UPND government has failed to own up.
Topic of discussion: where has Zambia gone wrong?
Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages.
On DSTV channel 274, GoTV channel 98 and Topstar channel 106.
Make a date with us. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. Now in international news, people in the Gambia are facing a spending squeeze after a nearly 50% rise in basic food items in 3 months. The high cost of wheat flour has forced some bakeries to shut down. In other news, France is ramping up its production of biogas to reduce reliance on gas from Russia. This comes after the European Union imposed sanctions on Moscow for invading Ukraine. The bloc wants renewable resources to meet nearly half of its energy needs by 2030. For more in international news, here is a roundup.
Yasin Jatta comes to Serekunda market to buy flour, sugar and rice. Since our last visit a week ago, she says the price of some commodities have increased by 15%. As a result, she's had to strike some items off her shopping list.
We used to cook 15 cups of rice, but now we reduce it to 10 cups of rice. Yeah, because we cannot afford it. My father cannot afford it. Things are very expensive.
Gambians are reliant on imports for nearly everything they consume, including the main staples of flour and rice. As inflation soars worldwide, many Gambians who are yet to fully recover from the economic fallout of COVID-19 struggle to put food on the table.
With an economy dependent on import, the Gambia is vulnerable to even the slightest disruption in the global supply chain. The war in Ukraine in particular has pushed the prices of basic commodities like flour and rice to levels many families can't afford. Bakers here say they've had to embark on strike to demand that government intervenes to make flour affordable.
Bakers who continue to make pastries say they had to increase prices and contend with fewer customers. Economists say the government must, in the medium term, quickly find alternatives to imports. Without this, they say the economy, which relies on remittances from workers abroad and tourism, can't withstand prolonged disruptions.
And these external shocks are due to Gambia not being a producer nation but a consumer nation. So if you look at our balance of payment, we are a net importer rather than a net exporter. So this is what's driving inflationary tendencies in the Gambia.
Back at Serekunda market, Yasin is done shopping. She leaves with one concern on her mind: whether prices will again be higher when she returns next week.
In the countryside south of Paris, a new biogas plant almost blends into the horizon. It was set up by 6 local farmers, including Luc Janotin, to convert their farm waste into energy. Each day they dump crops, vegetables and other organic matter into the system.
Every day we put 30 tons of waste into this container. It goes up into the grinder, water is added, and then it's all pumped into the fermenter where the gas is produced.
The plant is an extra source of revenue for the farmers whose work, says Luke, is at the mercy of an increasingly unpredictable climate. But it's also now playing a role in helping Europe to reduce its reliance on Russian gas.
The government 5 years ago set a goal that France would produce 100% of its gas by 2035. We're not there yet, of course, but what we're doing helps us become more autonomous in terms of our energy needs.
The gas is purified into biomethane that is cleaner than natural gas. It's then fed into a pipeline to the nearby town of Rambouillet. The gas produced at the farm helps to heat hundreds of homes in this town, as well as the swimming pool and the hospital. In France, 3 new biogas plants are switched on each week as private and public investment in the sector has increased in recent years.
We need to develop these types of energy as part of the work we're doing in this region to transition to more sustainable sources like biogas.
As the EU tries to wean itself off Russian gas in response to the war in Ukraine, biogas alone can't fulfill the bloc's immediate energy needs. But it's clearly part of the picture and a step towards a more sustainable future.
A flurry of diplomatic activity as the US seeks to emphasize its commitment to the security of the Asia-Pacific.
No region will do more to set the trajectory of the 21st century than this one.
The Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin held talks with several peers from Asian countries during his visit to Singapore, including his Chinese counterpart General Wei Fenghe. At what's called the Shangri-La Dialogue, Austin told delegates Chinese military activity around Taiwan is a threat to the region.
We remain focused on maintaining peace, stability, and the status quo across the Taiwan Strait. But the PRC's moves threaten to undermine security and stability and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific. We've seen allies.
Analysts say the defense chief's speech underscored major differences between the US and China.
Secretary Austin mentioned a lot about the international order, especially the rule-based order. I think for the Chinese, the question is whose rules and whose order?
More than a dozen defense chiefs from around the world are in Singapore for the security summit that's considered the most important in Asia.
With regional stability on the agenda, defense chiefs stepped up to share their vision for the Asia-Pacific. While Lloyd Austin's speech was the main event of the day, other speeches also caught the attention of attendees,
including one by Indonesia's defense chief Prabowo Subianto.
We have come to our own, the Asian way of resolving these challenges.
I think the Chinese like that message very much because it goes in line with the Chinese positions that Asia is Asians Asia.
Subianto told Al Jazeera his country and many others don't want to take sides.
The United States have helped us many times in our critical moments, but China has also helped us. China has also defended us.
Thank you very much for hosting.
Officials from the five-power defense arrangements pact also met on the summit's sidelines. The defence ministers of Malaysia, Singapore, New Zealand, Australia and the UK say the historic pact has modern relevance in the face of tensions in the region.
A world where there are pretty complex strategic challenges.
China's defence minister will address the summit on Sunday in a speech that's expected to outline Beijing's vision for meeting those challenges.
It's now time for sports news. The ongoing race to the Eden League promotion, that is hosting 10 teams from 9 different provinces battling it out for promotion, has seen Riflemen FC, the Army-sponsored side, being the second team to gain promotion into the National League. This follows 3 wins in a row at the ongoing National League playoffs. They join Mutondo Stars, where two other teams are yet to qualify. And still in sports news, Real Madrid have signed France midfielder Aurélien Tchouameni from Monaco on a 6-year deal. Both clubs have announced the deal, and Real say they will hold a presentation ceremony for the 22-year-old on Tuesday following a medical. Tchouameni made 35 Ligue 1 appearances for Monaco last season, contributing 3 goals and 2 assists. He has made 11 appearances for France since making his international debut in September. The deal is reported to be worth 80 million euros plus about 20 million euros in add-ons. Tchouameni had also been linked with Liverpool, Manchester United and Paris Saint-Germain. Reports suggested that Tchouameni had agreed terms with Premier League side Liverpool. Real Madrid will bring in Tchouaméni, having missed out on signing Paris Saint-Germain and France striker Kylian Mbappe earlier this summer. On that sporting note, we come to the end of the news, but before we go, the headlines once again. PF re-echoes its position over the 2022 national budget, describing it as a hoax. Government urged to do more in reducing the cost of living. President Hichilema thanks the church for its support to the government. In international news, families in the Gambia face spike in cost of living. And in sports news, Riflemen FC become second team to gain promotion into the National League. Our Camnet verse for the day is coming from the book of Psalms 46, verse 10. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted on earth. Thank you for watching the news. Once again, my name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Good night.